The courtroom in Dothan, Alabama, was thick with tension that humid June morning. A hush fell over the packed benches as James Carter, a black veteran paralyzed from the waist down, sat motionless in his wheelchair, awaiting sentencing. The charge, second-degree assault. Nobody expected what happened next, a moment that would leave the judge speechless and the room in tears. James was no stranger to this small southern town. At 53, he was the guy who handed out apples to kids on his block, who mowed his neighbor's lawn without asking, who flew the American flag on his porch with pride. But now, he sat in front of Judge Eleanor Harris, his face unreadable, hands steady. Across the room, his 15-year-old niece, Maya, clutched her backpack, her eyes darting nervously. The man James had struck, Tom Randall, sat with his arms crossed, his jaw still bruised. A local news crew hovered in the back, sensing a story. Judge Harris, known for her unyielding demeanor, flipped through James's file with a precision that made the room uneasy. The charge stemmed from a scuffle outside a grocery store, where James had landed a single blow, fracturing Tom's cheekbone. The grainy security footage showed only snippets shouting, James's wheelchair moving fast, and then the strike. The judge's voice cut through the silence. "Mr. Carter, please rise." A murmur rippled through the crowd. His public defender, Michael Lee, leaned forward, bewildered. "Your Honor, Mr. Carter is paralyzed. He can't stand." But James didn't hesitate. His hands gripped the arms of his wheelchair, his face tightened, and with a trembling effort, he pushed himself upward. His arms shook, his breath caught, but he rose just inches, but enough. Then his body gave way, and he sank back, exhausted but silent. The room froze. Judge Harris, her lips quivering, stood, removed her robe, and walked out without a word. Nobody moved. Maya reached for her uncle's shoulder, whispering something that brought a faint smile to his face. The judge returned minutes later, her voice softer. "We'll recess for 15 minutes. When she left again, tears glistened in the eyes of those watching. James lived 5 blocks from Dothan's old cotton mill in a modest brick house, the kind you'd pass without a second glance. He'd served 3 tours in Afghanistan, earning a Bronze Star as a field medic before an IED took his legs. He didn't talk about the war, though. To him, it was just a chapter closed. After his sister, Lena, died of a stroke, James took in Maya, then just 10, without hesitation. Every morning, he made her peanut butter toast with sliced bananas and a boiled egg she secretly fed to the neighbor's dog. They'd watch old westerns in the evenings, her laughter filling the quiet house. At Walter's Market, James had a routine. He navigated the aisles with ease, knowing which shelves to skip and which curbs to avoid. The cashier, Miss Clara, always bagged his apples separately. But James wasn't all patience. He had boundaries, and someone crossed them that day. Maya had stayed late for a science club meeting. James rolled out of the store with a bag of groceries when he saw her frozen at the edge of the parking lot. Tom Randall, a burly man in his 30s, loomed over her, his face red, his voice sharp. "We don't need your kind causing trouble here," he snapped. Maya's hands shook behind her back. James called her name. She didn't move. He wheeled closer, catching Tom's words, each one a jab at his niece's existence. "Say it to me," James said, his voice low but firm. Tom turned, smirking. "You think that chair makes you untouchable?" That's when James acted not with rage, but with precision. One upward strike with the heel of his palm. Tom stumbled, hit the ground, and the parking lot went quiet. Police arrived quickly. Officer Daniel Wells, a 9-year veteran, found James calm, arms raised, while Tom clutched his jaw, ranting. Maya, eyes wide, confirmed Tom had scared her. The security footage showed one clean hit, nothing more. Still, Tom pressed charges, citing a fractured cheekbone. James was processed, fingerprinted, and released on bond, his only concern getting Maya home safely. Word spread fast. Tom's family had ties to city officials, turning a simple scuffle into a public spectacle. The Dothan Register splashed James's mugshot across its front page, the headline screaming, "Veteran charged in assault." Some locals defended him, whispering about Tom's reputation for running his mouth. Others saw only the charge. At the gas station, 2 men argued over coffee. "You'd do the same if someone cornered your kid," one said. "Doesn't matter," the other shot back. "You hit someone, you pay." Michael Lee, James's young public defender worked tirelessly, gathering witness statements and store footage. 2 women confirmed Tom's aggressive stance over Maya. But Tom's family filed a civil suit, and the pressure mounted. Judge Harris, a Tulane-educated lawyer with a reputation for fairness, pored over James's file. His service record, his clean history, and Maya's spotless school record stood out. Something about the case nagged at her, a quiet unease she couldn't shake. The trial drew a crowd. The courtroom buzzed as Michael argued James acted to protect Maya, not out of anger. The prosecutor, Karen Holt, called it retaliation, dismissing James's military service as irrelevant. Tom testified, claiming he was just talking when James attacked. Maya, small in the witness chair, said simply, "I was scared." Her words hit harder than any argument. James spoke last, his voice steady. "I'm not here to play victim or hero. I hit a man because my niece was scared, and I'd do it again." Judge Harris listened, her face unreadable. She recessed the court until the next day, leaving everyone hanging. That night, alone in her office, Eleanor re-watched the footage. She saw Maya's trembling shoulders, Tom's looming figure, and James's unwavering focus on his niece. A memory surfaced. Her father, a Vietnam vet, once told her, "A man who protects a child without being asked knows right from wrong." It stirred something in her, a crack in her steely resolve. The next morning, the courtroom was packed. Judge Harris entered, her usual robe replaced by a blazer, signaling something different. She called James forward. "Mr. Carter, please rise." The room held its breath. Michael protested, but James gripped his chair and pushed. His effort, though brief, was raw, undeniable. When he collapsed back, the silence was deafening. Eleanor stood, left the room, and returned visibly shaken. "This court weighs lives, not just laws," she said. "Mr. Carter, you'll serve 80 hours of community service and 6 months of counseling not because you're a threat, but because even the strongest need space to heal." The gavel struck. Nobody moved. Maya hugged James tightly. A juror, an older woman, called out, "Thank you for what you did." Outside, reporters swarmed, but James rolled past them, Maya at his side. "You were shaking," she said. He smirked. Not bad for an old guy. That evening, they shared peach cobbler on their porch, the world's noise fading. The story went viral, sparking debates about justice and violence. Some praised Eleanor's humanity. Others called her exit theatrical. James returned to his routine, coaching kids at a youth center, teaching them to garden and stay calm. Maya joined her school's student council, speaking up about safety. Eleanor's rulings grew more thoughtful, her questions deeper. One day, she drove to James's house. "My father was like you," she said. "Quiet, but steady." James nodded. "If you're here to understand, that's enough." Months later, a letter from a VA caseworker arrived, praising James's courtroom moment. He tucked it away with a photo of Lena and Maya. Life moved on, but Dothan remembered. Justice wasn't just the sentence, it was the moment a man stood, not with his legs, but with his heart. What do you think? Was James right to strike, or should he have walked away? How do you weigh violence against injustice? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'll want to hear your perspective.